Good morning students. In the previous session we have completed lesson number 7, metals and non-metals. Now today we will start with lesson number 6, composition of matter. All the objects which are around us, which we can see, they all and which we cannot see are made up of matter. Now we will start with the lesson. Physical state of matter, submicroscopic picture. Now we will start with the physical state of matter. As you can see here, the three states, solid, liquid and gases, are given. Physical state of matter, solid, liquid and gas. Now interparticle distance in all this state of matter is given. As you can see here, in the solid all the particles, they are close to each other. Okay. In the liquid there is a distance between the particles. Okay, in the liquid. And in the gases you can see a lot of space between the particles. The empty space you can see here in between the particles. Now we will see the explanation for it. Physical state of matter. An intermolecular force of attraction acts between the particles. Intermolecular force means the force of attraction between the two particles, that is atoms or molecules of matter. An intermolecular force of attraction between the particles, atom or molecules of matter. The extent of the particle movement is determined by the strength of this force. The extent of the particle movement, the movement of the particles which are present in the particular matter, is based or it is determined by the strength of this force. Intermolecular force. So the movement of the particle is based on the intermolecular force. The particles of solid are very close to each other. Just now we have seen in the figure, the particles of solid, they are very close to each other and vibrate at their fixed position. The particles of solid are very close to each other and they vibrate at their fixed position. And the intermolecular force means the force of attraction between the particles, that is atoms or molecules. Yes, and the movement of the particles is determined by the strength of this intermolecular force. And in the solid, the particles are very close to each other and they vibrate at their fixed position. Once again we will see the figure. See here, in the solid, as you can see here, all the particles, see here, the particles are close to each other. Then in the liquid we can see the empty space in between, and in the gases they are very far from each other. Now due to this, is like definite shape and volume and also high density and non-compressibility. So because of this, as the particles of solid, they are very close to each other, so they have properties like definite shape, volume and high density and non-compressibility. Non-compressibility means they are not able to press or squeeze. The strength of intermolecular force is moderate in the liquid state. Now we will see the next, that is liquid state. As you have seen in the figure, the strength of the intermolecular force is moderate in the liquid state. Though it is not strong enough to fix the particles in definite position, it is strong enough to hold them together. Though it is not strong enough to fix the particles in definite position, it is strong enough to hold them together. So the strength of the intermolecular force is moderate in the liquid state. As we have seen, the particles are, they are not very close to each other. There is an empty space in between the particles. So because of this, it is not, they are not strong enough to fix the particles in a definite position, but they are strong enough to hold them together. As a result, liquids have a definite volume. So liquids have a definite volume. They do not have definite shape, but they have definite volume. Yes, as you know, the liquids, they do not have definite shape. They are taking the shape of the container. Yes, however, they have fluidity. They have fluidity and their shape is not definite but changes in accordance with the container. So their shape is changes in accordance with the container. And however, they have fluidity, the ability to flow easily, that is fluidity. The ability of a substance to flow easily, that is fluidity. So they have fluidity and their shape is not definite but changes in accordance with the container, but they have definite volume. So this is about liquid. Now the intermolecular force is very weak in gases. As we have seen, the particles are very far from each other, so they have less intermolecular force. Therefore the constituent particles of gases move freely and occupy all the space. So therefore the constituent particles of gases, they move freely and they occupy all the available space. Consequently, gases have neither definite shape nor definite volume. So they do not have definite shape or they do not have definite volume. So these are the properties of solid, liquid and gases we have seen just now. Now the table shows the characteristics of the states of matter. Now as you can see here, one table is given here. Characteristics of states of matter. Physical state of matter. The physical state of matter is given: solid, liquid and gases. Now these are the characteristics of states of matter, that is fluidity, rigidity, plasticity, elasticity in the first column. Second, volume. Third one is shapes. Then compressibility, intermolecular force and distance between particles. Now we'll start one by one. Solid. Solid, they are rigid, plastic and elastic. Yes, they are rigid, then they are plastic or they are elastic. Rigid means they have a particular shape, right? They have rigidity. Then plasticity means, yes, after applying the pressure they can change their shape, so that is plasticity. And elasticity means once we will remove the pressure, the particular substance is coming back to its original position or shape, that is elasticity, right? For example, rubber band, yes, after stretching it will change its shape. Yes, once we will remove the pressure, it will come back to its original position or place, that is elasticity. Now volume, they have definite volume, as we have studied earlier. Solids have definite volume. Shapes, they have definite shape. Compressibility, negligible, yes. Why? Because they are non-compressible, so that is negligible. Intermolecular force, strong, and distance between the particles minimum. As we have seen, they are very close to each other, so their distance between the particles is minimum. And they have strong intermolecular force. They are non-compressible, so compressibility negligible. They have definite shape and definite volume, and they are rigid, plastic and elastic. Now in the liquid they are fluid, yes. Then they have definite volume but they have indefinite shape. Yes, we have studied earlier, liquids, they do not have particular shape, so in shape you will write down indefinite shape. Compressibility, very small, and intermolecular force is moderate, and the distance between particles also moderate. As you have seen, there is a gap between the particles. Yes. Now in the gases, they are fluid, indefinite volume and indefinite shape. Compressibility very high, yes, as they have a lot of space in between them, so they are having very high compressibility. Intermolecular force is very weak and distance between particles very large. As we have seen in the figure, the distance between the particles is very large. Okay, so they are very far, the particles of gases are very far from each other, so they have very large distance between the particles. So this is about the characteristics of states of matter. Once again we will see: solid, they are rigid, plastic and elastic. So these characteristics, they have rigidity, plasticity and elasticity. Yes. Liquid, they are fluid, gaseous, they are fluid. Then solids have definite volume and definite shape. Liquids have definite volume and indefinite shape. Gaseous, they have indefinite volume and indefinite shape. Then solids are, they are non-compressible. Liquids, compressibility is very small, and gaseous, very high compressibility. Then intermolecular force between the particles in solid, very strong. Then in liquid, moderate, and in gases, very weak. Distance between the particles in solid is minimum, as we have seen in the figure. Then in liquid it is moderate, and in gases it is very large. So this is about the characteristics of the states of matter. Now The next is, this is the second method of classification of matter. This method, the criteria used for classification of matter is chemical composition of matter. Now we have seen the first method, that is physical state. Okay, now the next one is, this is the second method of classification of matter. This method, the criteria used for classification of matter is a chemical composition of matter. Now we'll start that. We have seen in the previous standard that matter is classified into three types: element, compound and mixture, by considering whether the smallest particles of matter are similar or different and what are they made of. Now in the previous standard you have studied about the matter is divided into, or it is classified into three types: elements, compounds and mixture, based on the smallest particle of matter are similar or different and what are they made of. All the smallest particles, that is atoms or molecules, in an element or a compound are alike, they are same. However, the smallest particles in a mixture are of two or more types. So all the smallest particles, that is atoms or molecules in an element or compound, they are same. In the element, in an element or in a compound, the smallest particle, that is atoms or molecules, they are same, but in the mixture the smallest particle that are of two or more types. So this is about the classification based on the chemical composition. It is divided into three types: element, compound and mixture. The smallest particle of an element contain identical atoms. For example, each molecule of oxygen contains two oxygen atoms in bonded state. The smallest particles of an element contain identical atoms. For example, each molecule of oxygen contains two oxygen atoms in bonded state. As you know, how we are writing molecular structure for oxygen, that is O2, right? Now in oxygen, that is O2, for example, each molecule of oxygen contains two oxygen atoms. As you can see here, each molecule of oxygen contains two oxygen atoms in bonded state. So this is an example of element, right? Now the smallest particle, that is molecules of a compound, are formed by joining two or more types of atoms to each other. The smallest particle of compound are formed by joining two or more types of atoms to each other. And in the compound, the smallest particle of compound are formed by joining two or more types of atoms to each other. And in the element, they are identical. Okay, the atoms are identical to each other. So this is the example, oxygen is the example of element. Now we'll move to the next, and this is the molecular formula, that is O2, right? For example, each molecule of oxygen contains two oxygen atoms in the bonded state, right? So the smallest particle of an element contains identical atoms, they are same, right? And the smallest particles of compound are formed by joining two or more types of atoms to each other. For example, we'll take, that is carbon dioxide, right? CO2, one carbon and two oxygen atoms, right? So that is the example of compound. Okay, hope you are clear with this. Now for example, each molecule of water contain hydrogen atom joined to one atom of oxygen. Now the example of compound is given here, that is water. See here, this is the molecular formula for water, H2O. As you can see here, each molecule of water contain two hydrogen atom and it is joined to one atom of oxygen. So this is the example of compound. Yes, two atoms are joined to form a compound. Then the smallest particle of a mixture are atoms, molecules of two or more elements or compounds. And in the mixture, the smallest particle of a mixture are atoms or molecules of two or more elements and compounds. So this is the mixture. Okay, hope we are clear with the elements, compounds and mixture. Okay, we have seen the example of element, that is oxygen. Then the example for compound, that is water, H2O, and air also we will see the example of mixture, that is air. Yes, all the gases are mixed in the air, so that is the example of mixture. Now see here, the example is given. The main constituent molecules of the mixture, namely air, are, now in the air there is a mixture of different gases like N2 nitrogen, O2 oxygen, argon Ar, H2O water, CO2 carbon dioxide. Similarly, the mixture An alloy, that is brass, contains atoms of copper, that is Cu, and zinc. The alloy, that is brass, contains the atoms of copper and zinc, while bronze contains atoms of the elements like copper and tin. So these are the examples of mixture. Okay, alloy, brass, and bronze. It is also example of mixture. Why? Because they are made up of two or more compounds. Yes, or the or the elements. Now one more example, that is air. Why? Because it is mixed. It is a mixture of all these gases: nitrogen, oxygen, argon, water, carbon dioxide. Similarly, the mixture, that is alloy, that is brass, contain atoms of copper and zinc. Brass, it is made up of atoms of copper and zinc. Then bronze contains atoms of the elements like copper and tin. So these are the examples of mixture. Hope you are clear till here. So what we learned today, we have started lesson number 6, composition of matter. Yes, in that we have seen the different states of matter like solid, liquid and gases, and then we have studied about elements, compounds and mixture. Okay, so today we will stop till here. In the next session I will start with the next concept. Thank you so much.